tribes and dancing and hunting, before dinosaurs, sea creatures, and even before the earth. Before all of that, before everything, was love. Love isn't something that you... Before cities and casinos and cell phones, before farms and ships and marketplaces, before tribes and dancing and hunting, before dinosaurs, sea creatures, and even before the earth. Before all of that, before everything, was love. Love isn't something that you or I created. It's something that feeds us, that surrounds us, that keeps us moving forward. And since love came first, then everything was built by that love and for the sake of enjoying that love. Though the planet Earth took billions of years to form, it was finally ready to become the dwelling place for humans. Humans were a different breed of creature from the outset, because we could adapt, we could create, and most importantly, we operated solely for love. But something poisoned the hearts of humans very early on, and we gradually forgot how to love as we were meant to. From that moment on, we started on a path separate from the love that we were designed to embody. Since that time, love has been looking for a place to call home like an orphan in search of parents. The hearts of humans closed their doors and instead craved after things that brought destruction rather than life. Mighty empires were built by taking selfishly instead of by giving, leaving countless souls at the mercy of man-made rules rather than the universal principles of love. Kingdoms were established by mighty men and fell apart just as quickly because they were built without the love which is fundamental for human existence. Yet, throughout the ages, those who were brave enough to stand up in the name of love and care for their fellow humans were actually pushing forward the evolution of love. Brave men and women helped to advance our collective ability as humanity to love and to return to our natural state of being. On one hand, humans have advanced in leaps and bounds in the past century, far beyond the imagination of even the biggest dreamers. They went from horses to helicopters, from chalkboards and candles to smartphones. It seems as though all the questions in the world now have answers. Yet in spite of all the progress that we've made to resolve our external problems, love still doesn't have a place, a culture, a country to call home. Love knows that it is closer than ever to finding its home and ending its quest once and for all. It is waiting for champions to emerge in its name who are willing to live, breathe, and act in oneness with love. Love is waiting for champions, for warriors who are willing to do whatever it takes to give love the permanent home it has been seeking after. Love knows that the time is now. Love will become the dominant force in this world, enveloping hatred and selfishness, and it is becoming a time of great division because people are choosing sides. So which side will you be on? Will you seek after personal gain, or will your eyes be on a higher purpose? Are you going to stand up for love and give with a humble heart? Will your heart be a home for love in this time? Will you let your love genius shine through? The answer is entirely up to you.
Youth, an adventure full of hope and passion. Endless possibilities to achieve our dreams. Where your dreams begin, youth and students for peace. Join us on this adventure. In the 20th century, the age of material civilization, science and technology's swift advancement allowed extreme individualism to run rampant. Pornography, violence, free sex, and drugs dismantled the family. Youth were thrust into a cold and dark world. In the 21st century, we need a balanced approach. More public-mindedness, less destruction and division. In 2015, the UN set 17 Sustainable Development Goals and is calling for global participation. What then is the key to harmonious and sustainable development? In 1976, Muhammad Yunus, a Nobel Peace Prize laureate from Bangladesh, developed the concept of microfinance. Microfinance has produced sustainable results. The concept has spread to 140 nations globally to alleviate poverty by providing loans to small social units and teaching collective responsibility. Well before this, Dr. Sun Myung Moon and Dr. Hak Ja Han Moon applied this concept in their quest for world peace. They advocated the smallest unit, the family, is where world peace and happiness begins. The family is where we first learn to live for the sake of others. We are calling this concept micro-peace.
Peace begins in the family, specifically in the relationship of parents loving their children unconditionally and children developing the heart of filial love toward their parents. Brought into society, this principle of living for others creates good character in citizens, patriots in nations, and saints in the world. But it all begins in the family.
The greatest peace sprouting from the smallest unit, one human family under God. In 2005, Father and Mother Moon launched UPF with a world tour emphasizing a new vision of peace. Night after night, city after city, visiting one nation per day, they taught that the family is not only the school of love, it is also the cornerstone of world peace. Beginning with the establishment of the Collegiate Association for the Research of the Principle in 1966. The many institutions they have founded convey a vision of peace and teach universal principles that strengthen marriage and the family.
When I was young, I took the Pure Love Pledge and it changed my life. From that day onwards, I was able to build my character and moral values. For the happiness and future of my students, I am continuing teaching Pure Love education at my school.
Father and Mother Moon have established more than 50 educational institutions around the world. MOUs have been signed and character education is being taught in thousands of schools on all continents and in all cultural spheres, East and West. After Father Moon passed away, Mother Moon carried out his intentions and established the Wonno Pyongne Scholarship Foundation, which supports the education of youth and students globally. The Sanok Peace Prize honors and supports heroes who are creating a culture of sustainable peace and are role models for future generations to look back on.
Recording in progress.
On February 23, 2017, Mother Moon, the first international chairwoman of the Women's Federation of World Peace, launched Youth and Students for Peace.
위하여 사는 참 사랑을 실천하는 나누어줘도 더 부족함을 느끼고 더 나눠주고 싶고 이런 마음 자세 이런 환경을 만들어 가야 하는 너희들 앞에 책임이 있다.
With the support of Women's Federation for World Peace and the Universal Peace Federation, YSP is a rapidly growing global network of game changers.
เยาวชนและนักเรียนแห่งสันติภาพคือความหวังและอนาคตของโลกโดยผ่านความรักที่บริสุทธิ์และความกตัญญูจะเป็นจุดเริ่มต้นแห่งความสุข และสันติภาพโลก
एउटा असल परिवार समाज समृद्ध राष्ट्र निर्माणको लागि युवा विद्यार्थी अवस्थाबाट नै सकारात्मक विचार उच्च भलाइ साँचो प्रेमको अभ्यास गर्न आवश्यक छ
À travers la Fédération des jeunes et des étudiants pour la paix, je travaillerai afin d'accomplir de grands rêves.
Youth and Students for Peace, YSP, builds on the past and opens doors of hope for the young generation through academics, service, sports, international exchanges, universal character education, environmental responsibility, among other things. In Asia, Africa, Korea, Japan, the US, Central and South America, Europe and Oceania, YSP is becoming a wave of goodness sweeping the world today. The idea of one family under God is taking root and growing in the hearts of people, young and old alike. Be a part of this global awakening. Let's create a new future working together. We can do it.
Mindanao, 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 Mindanao. Mindanao, 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 Mindanao.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Of today. Peace-loving. Bridging gaps towards sustainable peace. 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 Peace.
Mindanao, Mindanao.
Maayong hapon sa tanan. Welcome everyone. Thank you very much for participating in the Youth Leader of Success with the theme Let's Ascend Together One Rung at a Time, hosted by, of course, the International Association of Youth and Students for Peace, Misamis Oriental, and Zamboanga Peninsula chapters. We are astounded by the amount of support and participation coming from our local leaders in our chapters for this event. I'd like to especially acknowledge the presence of Ma'am Elsa Katay, Regional Leader of Region 9, and IAYSP Zamboanga Peninsula Advisor. Next, I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of Ma'am Teresita V. Humawan, Junior High School Guidance Designate, Naga National High School, and IYSP Zamboanga Peninsula Advisor, as well as Mr. Jeffrey Lingolingo, the JHCSC Danag Choir Conductor, Mr. Ariel Lacuaren Ando, Sambuzor Dance Company Artistic Director, and Mr. Manuel Siason, formerly WCORP President and now College Instructor at Trade ZPPSU, Madam Patricia Alvarez, Directress of Ferndale International School. Hello, ma'am. Monor Lajages, Secretary, Office of the Vice Governor, Basilan Isabela City. Good afternoon, sir. Ms. Dalia Amante Paragas, Head of PAU, DepEd Region 9. Dr. Pedro Melchor M. Natividad, OIC Assistant Regional Director of DepEd Region 9. welcome to this event, sir. Ma'am Rose Marie Cabandera, Ferndale International School Senior High School Principal. Welcome as well, ma'am. And of course, we also have Mrs. Flor Angeline A. Abubakar, SSG Advisor of Naga National High School, and Ma'am May Gabe, Senior High School Coordinator of Naga National High School. And of course, everyone here in Zoom, I cannot mention you all, but we are glad to have you in our event today. Okay, this is our first ever Leaders Connect activity, and unlike other chapters, you might have heard this also from other chapters, but we modified our event title, and this is because we have a sequel to this. This is just a prequel of another exciting upcoming event, which will revolve around the idea of youth and success, but the objective and the audience are rather different. Today, we are joined by outstanding youth leaders and advocates who share a common longing for the progress of peace in our society, and I cannot wait to hear their messages and learn from their wisdom and experience. So without further ado, let us start the program. I would like to invite you all to invoke the Almighty through the invocation which shall be offered to us by the incredible JHCSC Danag Trio, namely Alfe Mendiz Gesta, Janelle Turino Torendon, and James Andrew Fuentes. And this is to be followed by the singing of the national anthem by the JHCSC Danag Choir.
Napag-isip-isip mo ba ang buhay mo? Bakit ka inilagay sa mundong ito? Kung saan ka nang galing, kung saan ang patutunguhan, may dahilan kahit hindi mo ito alam. Ano kaya ang iyong gagawin? Pagpapatuloy mo ba ang iyong mga gawain? Kung magbabago ka ay simulan mo na ngayon. Tutulungan ka ng Panginoon. Lumapit sa Kanya, ibigay buong sarili, puso't kaluluwa. Huwag nang maghintay pa, ngayon mo ito gawin. Sapagkat di mo batid kung anong dala ng bukas para sa'yo. Kaya't ihandog mo na ngayon sa Kanya ang buhay mo.
Bayang magiliw, berde sa silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duwin ka ng magiting, sa manlulupit, di ka pasisir. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong babaw, ang ilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang isa't ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagnilimig, ang bituin na taraw ng kailan, ang may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw-arawan, ating pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang hindi kaya na bang may makapi, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo. Mindanao, 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 Mindanao.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Youth Leader of Success. It is really an honor that JHCHC's choir gave us the privilege to hear their amazing voices. Thank you so much, Mr. Jeffrey Lingolingo, JHCSC Danag Choir Conductor, for gracing our event. At this juncture, let me call on someone who is more befitting to welcome you all in this very significant and meaningful gathering of leaders. To deliver the opening remarks, please help me welcome the man behind the success of IOISP Pilipinas, Mr. Rene T. Lansangan. Welcome, Sir Rene.
Mindanao,
Thank you so much to our dynamic and passionate MC, Ms. Naomi Olohoy, the President of IAYSP Pilipinas, Misamis Oriental Chapter. Mayong hapon sa atong tanan. First of all, allow me to express my deepest thanks to all of you for attending today, especially to our distinguished leaders and speakers, Dr. Julius B. Malikdem, the Regional Vice President of Family Federation for World Peace and Unification, and the Chairman of UPF Southeast Asia, Mr. Leo Angelo Halog, the chairman of IAYSP Pilipinas, Honorable Tito B. Espiritu Santo, the president of Barangay Councilors League, the Philippines, Mr. Rolando B. Laure, Principal 2 of Naga National High School, Mr. Nonilo Olohoy, IAYSP Misamis Oriental Advisor, distinguished panelists, to all participants, mayong hapon sa atong tanan. I appreciate your response to our invitation to this Leaders Connect with the theme Youth Ladder of Success. Let's ascend one rung at a time. Please allow me to give you a short introduction about IAYSP. The International Association of Youth and Students for Peace, also known as IAYSP or YSP, is an NGO comprised of a global family of young people who are building a peaceful society through youth empowerment. Founded on February 23, 2017 in Chongpyeong, South Korea by Dr. Hak Jahan-moon and being inaugurated in many countries around the world. Last October 26, 2017, we had officially registered YSP in the Philippine government. On November 11, 2019, the Youth and Students for Peace, Filipinas, was already registered at the National Youth Commission of the Republic of the Philippines as a youth-serving organization. YSP has invested in the education, development, and nurturing of future leaders, in the process contributing to the achievement of the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. The organization's projects include character education, service projects, peace designer training, synergy, Billion Trees and Growing Project, Youth Peace Camp, and Regional Youth Forum. According to the IAYSP founder, the Mother of Peace, Dr. Hak Jahan-moon, and I quote, "The years of our youth are the best time to dedicate ourselves to exciting goals that make our hearts beat faster. Since our youth is brief, it is important to do this without delay. We don't want to be left in the regret. We need to set goals and know who to partner with to achieve them. If we do not live vigorously and create our own path, we will end up sinking in despair and in vain. The passion of youth transcends borders and breaks down walls. Young people of true passion are those who have the spirit to challenge themselves and the world around them. Keeping one's mind and body healthy, strong and pure is a lifelong task, and its importance is greatest during our youth, and we should be beautiful young men and women ready to launch ourselves into the world with the courage that comes from having great dreams. Therefore, IAYSP offers hope and solution, more than just an idea whose time has come. Young people are working together to build a culture of values and integrity based on universal principles rooted in the family. This initiative is expanding into a global awakening. I am challenging all the participants to please listen attentively in our presentations and messages. Likewise, we encourage you, all students and youth leaders, to strongly support the IAYSP program and activities and to become our members and partners, because your participation and involvement always matter. Thank you, welcome, at mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Thank you so much, Sir Rene, for constantly and gladly accepting our invitation to impart your wisdom during our event. And we cannot help but also feel motivated to do our best always, whatever the circumstance may be, because of your leadership. And next, we are also very glad to have with us the chairman of IAYSP Pilipinas, an equally inspiring leader to us all. Please help me welcome with a virtual applause, Mr. Leo Angelo Tihalog, for the special remarks.
Mindanao, Mindanao, Mindanao.
Thank you very much to our very energetic and passionate moderator, Naomi. I am really honored to be with you today in this very important webinar. Thank you very much for your participation. First of all, I would like to greet our very respected speakers, the Vice President of the Family Federation for World Peace and Unification, Asia Pacific Region 2, Dr. Julius B. Malikdem, and the President of IAYSP Pilipinas, Mr. Rene Lansangan, the President of Barangay Councilors League of the Philippines, Honorable Tito B. Espiritu Santo, the Principal 2 of Naga National High School, Mr. Rolando B. Lowry, IAYSP Misamis Oriental Advisor, Professor Nonilo Olohoy, our distinguished guests and panelists for this afternoon, and especially the youth leaders and all the passionate young people who are joining here today. A pleasant afternoon to you all. Mayong hapon sa tanan. I would like to commend the IAYSP Misamis Oriental and Zamboanga Peninsula chapters for organizing this truly meaningful and timely Leaders Connect webinar with the theme Youth Ladder of Success. Let's ascend one rung at a time. It is really natural that all people desire to succeed in life. It is a part of our human nature. God, our Heavenly Parent, created each one of us to become great men and women because we are all children of God. Therefore, all of us without exemption desire to succeed, especially so our young people. Young people have an innate ambitious nature. They always wanted to create a mark in history. Am I right? Yes or yes? Yes. This is the spirit of young people. But it is truly ironic that even though all people wanted to succeed, the reality is that there are extremely very few people truly succeeded in life. Even the famous people we admired and thought of being very successful regretted at the last moment of their life. Why? What is the reason? It is important that before we think of becoming successful in life, we first need to have a clear vision and goal. It is difficult to find young people today who are passionate about their lives. We find so many young people with no goal or purpose for their life are just wandering around. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 18, it says that where there's no vision, people perish. So the first thing is to have a vision and goal. If our young people today has a clear vision and goal, then they will know clearly where to go. A person without a vision is like a ship without compass that will surely cannot reach its destination. The next thing is what kind of vision our young people needs to have. Young people of today needs to go beyond themselves. The world we are living in is a world of individualism. People live as though they came into this world on their own. There's nothing in this world that comes into being for its own sake alone. All created beings are created for one another. The individual must live for the family for the people for the world, and the world for God. Father Moon mentioned that to realize that we exist for the sake of others is the great achievement that changes our lives. When we realize that our life is not ours alone, but is meant to be for the sake of the other, we begin to follow a path different from the one we were on. So in order for our young people to truly succeed in life, they need to have a clear vision and goal. And their vision should be beyond themselves. Young people should invest themselves for the sake of their families, their community, their nation, and the world. They have to strive to live a life of filial piety to their parents, patriots to their nation, saints in the world, and divine sons and daughters of God, our Heavenly Parent. Let us really stand and help our nation through reviving the true human spirit amongst our young people. Let us become the youth that our national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, was mentioning 100 years ago. Let us go beyond individual success, but let us bring true success in our families, in our community, and in our beloved nation of the Philippines. I would like also to take this opportunity to express my profound gratitude to the founder of IAYSP, Dr. Hakjahan Moon, or Mother Moon, the Mother of Peace, together with her late husband, Reverend Dr. San Myung Moon, or Father Moon. Father and Mother Moon have dedicated their entire life for the sake of establishing a world of peace. Their vision is to really build a world without boundaries and establish one family under God, where all people can live in joy and in happiness. They have invested continuously in raising up young people who can live for the sake of others by practicing true love, not only for their families, but for the sake of their nation and the world. To conclude, I would like to read from Father Moon's autobiography. He said that the starting point is to have a dream and a goal. Please have an adventurous and pioneering spirit. Dream dreams that others dare not imagine. Set goals for yourselves that have meaning and become global leaders who will bring benefit to humankind. Once again, thank you very much for joining today's very important webinar. I'm sure that your time invested here will be very fruitful, and you will surely receive a lot of insights which will help you succeed in your life. I wish you all the best. May God's blessings be upon you and your families. Mabuhay.
Mabuhay! Thank you so much, Mr. Leo Angelo T. Halog, Chairman of IAYSP Pilipinas, for that very empowering message. Now, we are not quite done with our messages yet. We are fortunate enough to be graced by the President of the Barangay Councilors League of the Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, here to give us a message is Mr. Tito B. Espiritu Santo. A round of applause, please.
Mindanao, Mindanao.
Don't worry when you are not recognized, but strive to be worthy of recognition, said Abraham Lincoln, the US President who ended slavery in America. Good afternoon to you all. The hopes of our future and our fatherland. Our youths. I am now 67 years old, and if only I can turn back the time and be one of you today. There are a lot of things that I would like to do to help our city and our country. But I believe it's never too late, because through you, the young ones now, I can share my thoughts, my ideas, and my dreams to help the future generations to come. But the things I have in my mind might not be the same as yours. Your thoughts, ideas, and dreams might even be better and greater. And that is what you have to act and fulfill now. Have the courage to think and explore new things. Whatever the cost may be, for experience is your best teacher. Do your best to triumph over any kind of problem that may come your way. Never be defeated by rejections or failures or frauds. Take a step at a time, for a single step starts your first journey to the unknown. Ask if you are in doubt, experiment to discover. Travel far and why to find new experiences that may help. As Martin King Luther Jr. said, but whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. And now is your time to start and make the future brighter than today and better off. With this in mind, you can never fail. Good luck. And may the Heavenly Father and Mother guide your way to success. Again, good afternoon. Have a fruitful journey ahead of you.
One day you will thank yourself for not giving up.
Mindanao, Mindanao.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tito Espiritu Santo, for supporting this event. And yes, I guess we can all tell from the messages of our leaders and those who came before us as leaders, they all say one thing, that we should try to challenge ourselves, as especially during this time that we are still a member of the youth. Thank you so much, Mr. Tito Espiritu Santo. Now, you might think that we're done with our messages, but we have one last message from another distinguished guest, the principal of Naga National High School, which will be read to us by Mr. Riden V. Uba, Head Teacher 1 of the Araling Panlipunan Department in Naga National High School.
Mindanao, Mindanao.
Hello, sir. I think we cannot hear your voice, sir.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello there. Okay, there, sir.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My due respect to our dignitaries virtually. So, on and in behalf of our school principal, Mr. Rolando Villaure, it is my honor and privilege to read to you the message from our beloved principal. Greetings of peace. To the organizers of this event, to the youth, this event is heartedly designed for, and who are our future leaders and hope. My great pleasure with you today in this meaningful gathering in this part of the world. I sincerely congratulate our youth and all other partners in advancing this kind of project that empowers our young generation to be advocates of peace and development. The goal is global, but it will always start at our own level, within ourselves. The theme is exact. Let's ascend one rung at a time. Yes, peace as we always dream, aspire, and work for must start in ourselves. It's hard to bring the staff to others if one is deprived of love, harmony, and peace in himself. One cannot give it if he doesn't have. Peace is from us. And you, the youth of this generation, can surely do it. I am happy with you today because I can see in you the true hope for peace. Your group or your organization becomes an instrument to global peace. You're such empowered to act as one. Truly, in your efforts, the sustainable peace, harmony, and progress can be achieved, specifically through connecting one another. Think of an initiative, think of a project, think of an action that leads towards a genuine culture of peace. Let's always support sustainable global peace and development. Individual differences and diversity in beliefs and culture do not create a high wall and wide gap to reach our common goal. Familial love and respect become your energy to go and work after peace, especially by you, who are young and passionate. Even in times of adversity, like this health crisis at present, we can count on you because you can quickly manage and rebuild what is ruined. Unfairly can bring courage and hope to spread love and peace. Be also a bearer of responsibility, good character, and discipline and compassion. Continue to be advocates of peace. Promote peace events, forums, and even culture programs and projects with the rest of the generation. Be a beacon of peace in your family, peers, and your school or community. Work as a team in building your peace projects and initiatives. Your energy and passion as youth can be a great hope and true joy to our Mother Moon in her dream of building global peace. Thanks to our founder of this International Association of Youth and Students for Peace, Dr. Hak Jahan Moon. Let's be with her for world peace. Good day and mabuhay.
Let's give a thunderous applause to Mr. Rolando B. Laurie, everyone. Thank you as well, Mr. Riden Uba, for reading his message. All right. It is really a pleasure to listen to the messages of these wonderful leaders whose wisdom and results we youth leaders aspire to possess. Everybody, let us give all our speakers a virtual applause. All right. Now, what is a youth gathering without some performance, right? Well, here to hype things up and ignite the spirit of the youth is a newly established but already nationally recognized dance company headed by Mr. Ariel Lacuaren. Ladies and gentlemen, the grand champion of the Jingle Dance Competition 2021, who also got to perform in the Sayaw Pinoy 2021 sponsored by the National Commission for Culture and the Arts Committee. Everyone, let's dance along to the amazing performance of Zambusor Dance Company.
Amelia, do you hear me calling? 'Cause I can see you falling. You can follow me when you're weak and need Amelia, Amelia, do you hear me calling? 'Cause I can see you falling. But you can call on me when you're weak and need my baby. Tell me in and I'ma drive you crazy. I'ma run it out the guts, my baby. Now the mother girls around my head, yeah. But the news, I don't care, 'cause you worth the trouble, nah. Put on my chips and double up. A girl BAF, but she bad as fuck. Ooh, yeah. Started dripping like water. She want me. Dancing with me in the corner. She want me. Picturing me in the shower. She want me. Didn't want it to be over. Oh, my baby, stay loving me and she get love and no mercy on me. Can you hear me calling? Oh, Amelia, do you hear me calling? 'Cause I can see you falling. But you can call on me when you're weak and need Amelia, Amelia, oh yeah.
When I look back on my life, it's not that I don't want to see things exactly as they happened.
Festival time. Ellos tan celosos por todo lo que Dios me dio. A las mujeres de ellos, mira como yo le doy.
La pongo así, le camino así, yo le bajo así, me la como así. Así, 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 así. Ahora dale. pariendo cuarto en mi casa. De que yo salgo a la calle en flow con la grasa y ustedes con su brujo leyendo su taza. Yeah. Es lo que tú dices, bellaca. Me gusta la colombiana así, de berraca. Que le den paca, tenemos la paca y como un pelotero, pum, te la saca.
Ellos tan celosos por todo lo que Dios me dio. A las mujeres de ellos, mira como yo le doy.
La pongo así, le camino así, yo le bajo así, me la como así. Así, 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 así.
Oh, what a feeling. Look what we've overcome. Oh, I'm gonna wave my flag. Saying, oh, we all together singing. Look how far we come now, 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 now. There's beauty in the unity we found. I'm ready, I'm ready. We still got a long way, but look how far we come now, 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 now. Hands up for your colors. One hand, two hands for your colors, yeah. Show your true colors. Here we go, here we go. Let's put on the show, let's put on the show right now. Let me see your hands up. Let me see your hands up. Look how far we come now, 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 now. Hands up for your colors. There's beauty in the unity. One hand, two hands for your colors, yeah. There's beauty in the unity. Show your true colors. Here we go. Here we go. Hands up for your colors.
Mindanao,
Wow, amazing! What a spectacular performance from Zambozur Dance Company. Thank you very much for that very colorful, lively, and youthful performance. Let us give them a virtual applause, please. I was really astounded by that performance. I wanted to dance along with them. For Zumba enthusiasts, you know what I feel? The music is really, really driving me to dance along with them. Okay, so now that we have been entertained by the Zambuzur Dance Company, I guess we are all wide awake and ready. So I won't delay this any further. We shall now be hearing from our main speaker for this event, a very special guest speaker, none other than the Regional Vice President of FFWPU and Chairman of the Universal Peace Federation for Southeast Asia, Mr. Julius B. Malikdem. Let's give him a virtual applause.
Mindanao, Mindanao.
Thank you very much, Naomi, for that introduction. To all our participants, youth leaders, the organizers of Leaders Connect Mindanao, thank you very much for inviting me and give this presentation. And thank you so much once again for joining us in this YSP's Leaders Connect Mindanao with the theme, Let's Ascend One Rung at a Time. In this 30-minute presentation, I will be sharing with you some important steps as you climb the ladder of success so that as a youth in our contemporary time, you can truly live a purposeful life. Through these life principles, which are some of the fundamental principles taught by our founders, Dr. Sun Myung Moon and Dr. Hak Ja Han Moon, you can gain the confidence that indeed success in its truest measure could be attained. Handa na ba kayo? Okay, so let's start. I would like to start by sharing to you an interesting story. It is a story of a father and his 5-year-old son. It was a typical Saturday morning, and this young boy wanted to play with his father. He said, "Daddy, can we play?" And his dad, who was busy preparing for a report that he needs to submit by Monday morning, answered, "Sorry, my son, not now. I am busy." But the boy insisted, "Dad, please, let us play." At that point, the father noticed a world map and a scissor on top of his table. "Okay, I have a great idea." So he cut the world map into several pieces and gave it back to his son. "Hey son, this is the game." "What is the game, Dad?" his son asked excitedly. "Oh, this game is called jigsaw puzzle. Just put the pieces back together correctly, bond them with a tape, and when you are done, show it to me, and we will play another game." So his son was so happy, and he said, "Wow, okay." And he went to one corner of the room. His dad was murmuring, Finally, my son will not disturb me anymore." However, after 5 minutes, the boy went back to his dad and said, "Look, Dad, I did it." His father cannot believe what he saw. Still shocked, he asked his son, "Hey son, since when did you learn about geography?" "What? Geography, Dad?" So his dad asked his son, "How did you do it?" And his son answered, "I just put together the picture of a karate master at the back of the map. When the man became whole again, the world got together as well. Nang mabuo ang tao, naayos din ang mundo." So if we are to talk about true success, we should be able to solve first the challenges in our nation and in our world today, and that should begin by first solving the problems in ourselves, in us human beings. I guess most of you, our young participants today, probably belong to Generation Z. That is why you belong to Generation Zoom, right? Before the age of Bluetooth, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and robotics, it was the age of many scientific breakthroughs in the 20th century. The 20th century was an important century in the history of sciences and technology. From space exploration, microwaves and satellites, from automobiles, airplanes and submarines, from television to personal computers, X-rays. We have seen the best of men in the 20th century. However, we also have seen the worst in man. From massive poverty and hunger to drug addiction, moral degradation and destruction of their families, religious and ethnic wars to wars among nations, pollution, climate change, racial discrimination, terrorism. The question is, what went wrong? Anyari? These challenges actually pose the greatest threats to the young and gullible minds of our youth today. With all these challenges, is Buddha true in saying that life is indeed full of suffering? So how are we going to realize now our dream of success? Our dream for a happy and contented life. Our dream to live in a world of lasting peace. So as Lao Tzu said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. But even though we make the first step, but if we are going towards the wrong direction and opposite direction, we can never reach our desired destination, right? That is why making the right first step in the right direction is of paramount importance. So I would like to use the word peace to emphasize some of the steps for a purposeful life as you ascend one rung at a time towards true success. So let us talk peace. First letter is P. And P stands for purpose. You know, you cannot ignore the importance of finding purpose if you are to journey towards success. Life without purpose is like sailing in a vast ocean without a compass or a radar. As Mark Twain said, the two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. So why is it important to understand your true purpose in life? Because it will define your true value, your true worth. You know the value of a pearl? You know, there are many very expensive pearls. I heard that the most expensive pearl in the world is estimated to be worth around $100 million. Wow! That is how valuable pearls are. But what happens when you give these pearls to a pig? Can they appreciate the value of the pearl? No, they will just eat those pearls. So it is the same with us human beings. Unless we know our true value, we will never appreciate the life given to us on this earth. So you need to find your true value. You need to find your true worth. You know, why is it that golds and diamonds are valuable? Do you know why? Because diamonds and gold are very rare and does not change. Their value does not diminish in time. So talking about purpose, are you someone like this? As you struggle to find out your life's purpose? You know, many times we have tried to define our purpose, or we have let others define our purpose and direction. However, is it for us to define our own purpose? And do you agree that everything that exists has a purpose? Yes, everything has a purpose. So let's take an example. For example, a pen. The purpose of a pen came from the manufacturer, right? The designers determine how the plastic and metal would be molded and how the pen would be used. And it is used for writing. However, maybe I can define other purpose for pen. I can use this for poking on someone. I can use this for stirring my coffee. But is it right? It is the manufacturer or the creator that will define the purpose of that pen. So to understand our purpose or our existence, we must know our creator's original purpose for creating us. So secondly, the purpose exists before the created thing come into existence. Purpose drives the design and the manufacture of the product. That's why purpose precedes our existence. And that purpose defines our value, right? So, in conclusion, the purpose for my life actually came from my Creator, God, not from me. That is why it is important to know, what does God expect from me? What is God's purpose for me? Are you okay? So, you know, purpose is more fundamental than just your career, your job, or your vocation. Okay? So, yes, you can be a doctor, or a lawyer, or a teacher, or a businessman, etc. And you can actually choose your own career. In short, your career or your vocation is selected after you were born, right? And you determine to a large extent your own profession. However, your career is not the same as your life's purpose. Because your life's purpose is not your own choice. You don't decide your life's purpose. Again, who decides your life purpose? It comes from the Creator, God. And that purpose is actually the same for everyone. It's the same for me, it's the same for you, and it's the same for all people. So therefore, when we think about purpose in life, we have to understand that is why as you step on the ladder towards success, first and foremost, you need to have the steady foundation. Otherwise, your ladder will be moving. And that is to understand your purpose that comes from God and not from you. You are responsible to be the best person God made you to be, and that is become God's filial sons and daughters. As they say, who you are is God's gift to you, and what you become is your gift to God. So let's continue our talk on peace. Next letter is E, which stands for existence. This talks about understanding who we truly are, the essence of your very existence. That essentially, we as human beings are spiritual in nature. That is very important as you ascend in the ladder of success. You know, as Bob Marley said, don't gain the world and lose your soul. Wisdom is better than silver or gold. So let us understand more deeply who we are and how do we pursue true and lasting happiness. Okay, so everybody wanted to be happy, right? Meron ba sa inyo na pagkagising sa umaga at mag-wish ng sana maging malungkot ako ngayong araw na ito? Hello? Okay ka lang? So okay, for example, this is you. You have your mind and body. To satisfy your physical needs, you long for what? You long for food, shelter, wealth, and comfort. We call this material values. This is normal. We seek for this for our physical well-being. Then how about your mind? Alam po ninyo, iba ang hinahanap ng mind natin. No? Our mind seeks to satisfy what we call spiritual needs. For example, truth that stimulates our intellectual desires, beauty, goodness, and love that stimulates our moral desires. So when you have this, then you can gain what? You can gain inner satisfaction. Actually, both of these are needed so that we can experience true and lasting happiness. But you know, what is the problem? Most of the time, we just focus on what? We just focus on the desires of our body and neglect the desires of our mind. We neglect inner satisfaction and only concentrate on gaining physical satisfaction. So if we do this, we prioritize the desires of our body above the desires of our mind, then actually we can still attain happiness, but only what? Temporary happiness. So when you ignore your spirit, then you can become like an animal. Wala na tayong pinagkaiba sa hayop. I'll give you an example. For example, mayroong isang pusa pumasok sa isang bahay. Tapos may nakita siyang ulam doon sa ibabaw ng mesa. Sa palagay ninyo, magpapaalam ba yung pusa sa may-ari bago niya kainin? I don't think so. Definitely, yung pusa aakyat doon sa mesa, kakainin niya yung ulam na walang paalam. How about, let's say, may isang tao pumasok sa bahay na hindi sa kanya. Tapos may nakita siyang nakahandang pagkain doon sa mesa. At kung yung tao na yon kinain yung nakahandang pagkain pero hindi siya nagpaalam, ano ang tawag natin doon? Yung tao nag-asal pusa or nag-asal hayop. So it is actually an issue of priority. When you prioritize the desires of your mind above your body, then this is what? This is public-minded and this is good. However, when you sacrifice your mind and prioritize your bodily desires, what happens to you? You become self-centered and you become selfish. Therefore, our responsibility is to set right our priorities in life. So that is why when we talk about the growth of human character, it is not automatic. Yes, you know, our body, our physical body can grow automatically according to biological law. However, our character, the internal aspect of the human being, do not grow automatically. So when you were born like this, right? Cute, right? You were born with the potential for love. But that love is like a plant that needs careful cultivation to be nurtured. That means we need what? We need to make efforts. And then you become mature and you can realize your potential for love. So, it is actually you who is responsible for your own moral development. To achieve your full potential, we must actively take responsibility for the growth and the development of our character and heart. Kaya tama yung kasabihan, madaling maging tao, pero mahirap magpakatao. This is actually what the world needs now. Because of all the technological advances and material developments, humanity tend to be more individualistic, materialistic, and selfish. People have the tendency to make wrong priorities. But actually, to realize true happiness and true success, what we need is not more material things, but what we need is more heart. Third is the letter A. Letter A stands for altruism, or living for the sake of others. To continue our steps in the ladder of success, please do not forget a very important principle, that principle of living for the sake of others. You know, as Mother Teresa said, a life not lived for others is not a life. You know, amazingly, when you look at nature, we can see very clearly the principle at work. God's ideal is based on the principle of living for the sake of others. You know, from the smallest creation like the atom to the largest creation like the solar system, there is only one principle that governs them. And we can observe the principle of living for the sake of others in all creation. I'll give you an example. So this principle of living for the sake of others, or for the sake of higher purpose, is universal to all created beings, especially for us, human beings. We were, created based on these principles of being related to each other and not existing alone or independently. So we can say that the basis of our existence is through what we call reciprocal relationship. Once again, reciprocal relationship, or the principle of coexistence and interdependence. I want to invite you to look closely, at this photo right here, right? So what do you see? Looks like this bird here is in a life and death situation, right? Like anytime now, this crocodile will just snap close its mouth and bye-bye birdie. But actually, this bird is called a plover bird that recognizes the invitation of the crocodile when the crocodile opens its mouth. This bird is actually eating the food that were stuck in the crocodile's teeth. The bird gets a free meal and the crocodile gets free dental cleaning. So they are both benefited. Amazing, right? Amazing relationship. So this is the principle of creation, that nothing exists for itself, rather all for the benefit of created beings. We call this symbiosis, right? Or living together. Okay, this is another example. What do you call this fish? Nemo? This is actually what we call the clownfish. And this clownfish like to stay with sea anemones. They have symbiotic and mutualistic relationship. The sea anemone protects the anemone fish or the clownfish from predators, as well as providing food through the scraps left from the anemone's meals. And in return, you know what happens? The clownfish defends the anemone from its predators and parasites. So the anemone also picks up nutrients from the pupu, the pupu of the clownfish. Amazing relationship. This is another example. This is the hummingbird, the relationship of the hummingbird and the flowers. So this is what we call another mutualistic relationship. Both benefit. The flowers produce food or nectar, and in return, the hummingbirds help to move the pollens for the plant to reproduce. This is amazing relationship we can observe in the creation. So we cannot deny this universal principle of give and receive action. Look at this. Plants, and animals support each other in order to survive. Plants give off what? Oxygen, which the animals need in order to live, while, the animals give off carbon dioxide, which is also needed by the plants in order to survive. Wow. This is the law of nature, which is based on the law of cooperation. So if you deny this universal principle, you cannot survive. That is why selfish people are destined to perish. I'll give you an example. If you inhale, you naturally exhale. Okay, pangatawanan mo yung pagiging selfish. Ayaw mong magbigay. Inhale, ayaw mong magbigay. Inhale pa rin, what will happen to you? Will you survive? No. You will perish if you defy the law of nature. As our founder, Dr. Sun Myung Moon, emphasized, when we realize that we exist for the sake of others is the great achievement that can change your lives. So let us continue our talk on peace. Let's go to letter C. And C stands for cooperation, or the principle of unity, or the principle of togetherism. This is very important as we continue our ascension towards success in life. This is very much related to the principle of altruism. As Henry Ford said, coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. So that is why the law of progress in human society is based on the law of cooperation. When there is cooperation, then human society can develop and can progress. We need to cooperation in all levels of relationship. For example, parents and children. Parents cannot become parents without children. And similarly, children cannot become children without parents. Teachers need students, as students also need teachers. Same with the relationship with employers and employees. Same with businesses and consumers. So when we talk about cooperation, this is again emphasized by the words of Helen Keller. She said, alone we can do little. Together we can do so much. Wow, amazing words, right? Alone we can do little. Together we can do so much. And let's go to the last letter of peace, letter E, which stands for effort. Yes, you heard it right, effort. Nothing can substitute for hard work. Most people who have succeeded in life are those who willingly went through suffering and failures after failures as they worked their way up. In this era when everything seems easy and comfortable, and people like instant and fast, like instant coffee, instant noodles, fast food, right? More and more, people are lacking the virtue of patience and hard work. But these are actually prerequisites for a truly successful life. These are interesting words from Arnold Schwarzenegger. Just remember, you cannot climb the ladder of success with your hands in your pockets. Amazing words. It's good to reflect on these words, right? Let me add one more for letter E. E stands for enjoy the ride. That means you can still be grateful even in a long and rough journey. Please remember that life itself is a journey. The destination is just a bonus. What is important is on your way to success, you are enjoying every bit of the adventure, the learnings, and the experiences of love that you have accumulated. My friend Leonardo DiCaprio aptly said, if you can do what you do best and be happy, you are further along in the life than most people. These are very important words. So in a nutshell, the steps you can take as you ascend to success, don't forget about this. You need what? First, you need to understand your true purpose in life. Also, you need to be reminded of who you really are, your existence, that you are essentially spiritual in nature. And then third, you have to be guided by the principle of living for the sake of others, or altruism. Fourth, you need to apply the principle of cooperation and unity. And then fifth, you need to value the importance of making effort and hard work. I hope that by now you have realized something important. That most important is your attitude about life, as well as your strong resolve to contribute something positive for our nation and for the world. So you should never forget that if your achievements are confined to only your own benefit, then it can hardly be considered as genuine success. Because, genuine success should be celebrated not only by yourself, but should be celebrated by the people who are benefited by your achievements. So live your life to the fullest in accordance with God's design for you. So as I close, I would like to end with another story behind the famous Nobel Peace Prize that I would like to ask you to ponder upon. Do you know the man behind this? Yes, the man behind the Nobel Peace Prize is Alfred Nobel. But who is Alfred Nobel? Well, he was not as we know him now. He was actually the inventor of what? He is the inventor of dynamite, which is, of course, caused many people to die. Ammunitions were used to kill people. He has built 90 armaments factory. In short, he was a notorious, rich businessman. But what made him change? What made him totally change? It was actually an incident while he was in Paris. He came upon a newspaper that gave him the shock of his life. He read in the newspaper about his death. And in the headline of that newspaper, nakasulat doon, the merchant of death is dead. Actually, it was his brother who died, not him. So, that totally changed his perspective about life. He was afraid of what legacy he can leave behind when he dies. This is not what he wanted to be remembered in history. So to make the long story short, he sold all his properties and placed everything in a foundation to recognize people who have contributed for the betterment of humanity, for the cause of peace. That foundation was the one that started the now famous Nobel Peace Prize. So now let me ask you this question. What kind of legacy you want to leave behind? So our youth leaders, our young participants, may you all become the young people who are guided by your sense of purpose in life. And may you truly become agents of positive change, and young people who can attain true success in life together. Thank you very much for staying with me in this presentation.
Wow, amazing as always. Thank you so much, Dr. Julius Malikdim, for making time to impart your wisdom on the steps to achieve success. Live your purpose. Again, he reminded us that before we step on the ladder towards success, we must be aware of our purpose first. Otherwise, yes, I can imagine if you climb up a ladder that is not sturdy, you do not know which step to take. That's very hard. It's very challenging. And our purpose must be derived from God and not from ourselves. Next is E, existence. We need to understand who we truly are. We are spiritual in nature. And then A, for altruism. We need to live for the sake of others. We need to follow the law of nature, which is the law of cooperation. That's the letter C, cooperation. And then lastly, effort. Yes, it needs action. And of course, I was amused with the last E, which I think the youth does best. That's enjoying the ride. No matter how difficult the lives of the youth may be, we can always be creative. Actually, we are one of the most creative people to enjoy the ride despite difficulties. I believe so. Don't you agree? Dear Zoom participants, I hope everyone is still alive and awake. Please do share your insights. I have a lot of insights from Dr. Julia's lecture. It was really amazing. And I hope you also share your insights in the chat box. We'd love to hear from you. And by the way, Dr. Malikdim is sharing to us his lecture live, actually, live at the national headquarters, which is amazing. Thank you so much for making time for us, Dr. Julius Malikdim. Please, let's give him a virtual applause. It is always a joy to hear your lectures, sir. And of course, we shall try our best to put these, whatever we have learned here, into practice. Okay, now I think we are at the most exciting part. We will be now proceeding to the open forum. But before that, the Zambazur Dance Company was generous enough to allow us to share another one of their amazing performances. Let's give it up once again for the Zambazur Dance Company.
Oh, misty eye of the mountain below, keep careful watch of my brother's souls. And should the sky be filled with fire and smoke, keep watching over during sun. This is to end in fire, then we shall all burn together. Watch the flames climb high into the night, calling out, Father, oh, stand by and we will watch the flames burn over and on the mountainside. High. If we should die tonight, we should all die together. Raise a glass of wine for the last time, calling out, Father, oh, prepare as we will watch the flames burn over and on the mountainside. Desolation comes upon the sky. Now I see fire inside the mountain. I see fire burning the trees, and I see fire hollow in soul. I see fire blood in the breeze, and I hope that you remember me. And if the night is burning, I will cover my eyes. For if the dark returns, then my brothers will die. And as the sky is falling down, it crashed into this lonely town. And with that shadow upon the ground, I hear my people screaming out. And I see fire inside the mountains. I see fire burning the trees. I see fire hollow in souls. I see fire blood in the breeze. I see fire. Oh, you know I saw a city burn out. And I see fire, feel the heat upon my skin. And I see fire, and I see fire burn over on the mountainside.
Wow, indeed, yes.
Mindanao,
Yeah, it's very amazing performance from the Zambusur Dance Company. I really love that song too. I See Fire by Ed Sheeran, but there are also other editions like the Celtic Woman. So amazing. Thank you so much again, Dr. Julius, for the wonderful lecture on the steps that we can take towards peace and towards success, because most of the time in schools, we often hear it as something elusive and there's no clear steps to take to achieve such an abstract concept, right? But here in IAYSP, I am very fortunate, and in FFWPU, I grew up and I was raised knowing these kind of principles, which are rather practical and very clear at what we should do and what we should apply in life. Thank you so much. Again, also, Zambusur Dance Company, amazing performance. And again, we are at the highlight of this event, because who is the star of this event? It's of course the youth leaders, right? The star of this event is none other than our hardworking and inspiring youth leaders across Mindanao, across Zamboanga Peninsula and Misamis Oriental. We are honored to be given the opportunity to gather everyone here at our event today, and we have also invited highly esteemed members of the panel today who will be sharing their best practices and some messages, and I'm excited to introduce them to you and to learn from their wisdom gained from their long years of experience as youth leaders. First, let me introduce to you our panelists from Zamboanga Peninsula, and before I do that, I would like to invite them to please open their cameras, including those from Misamis Oriental chapter. Please do open your cameras so we can acknowledge you. And first, again, we have Miss Selena Cabiara, the Local Youth Development Officer Designate of Zamboanga City. Let's give her a hand.
One day you will thank yourself for not giving up. Hi everyone, buenas tardes. I'm Selena Espiritu Santo Cabiara, the Local Youth Development Officer of Zamboanga City. Today I'm going to share to you some of my philosophy about not giving up. Not giving up your plans, not giving up your dreams, not giving up your future. Let me tell you a story. One day, me and my friend went to a department store. We passed by the cosmetic section and saw our favorite lipstick was on 70% sale. And so I invited her to grab one and avail the promo. Then she said, "There's a lot of people. Look at the line. It's too long." Then I said, "Hey, it's our favorite lipstick." Then she said, "Yeah, I know it's our favorite, but look at the crowd." Then I said, "Hey, it's 70% off." Looking at her watch, she said, "It will take us an hour to grab one." Me looking at the lipstick and her looking at the line. Me looking at the lipstick and her looking at the crowd. Me looking at the lipstick and her looking at her watch, concerned about the time. Then I realized there are two kinds of people. One who is willing to take all the risks just to fulfill his or her dreams and realize their mission, and the other who is afraid to face circumstances and easily gives up. One who sees the positive outcome, the other who sees the negative reasons. One who is determined to reach the goals, and the other who finds many excuses in fulfilling her dreams. As a leader, we don't easily give up, no matter how hard the situation is. Yes, sometimes we feel discouraged and hopeless, but let us continue to be optimistic in many ways. What I wanted to point out is that it does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. Turn your hopes into realities. There's no easy way to success. One day you will thank yourself for not giving up. It's not about the hard work, but more about the heart work. How you put your passion and compassion in doing the things that you love. Well, I ended up buying 2 lipsticks that day. Never give up and trust the process. Muchísimas gracias y buenas tardes.
Thank you very much, Miss Selena Cabiara. And I'm assuming that the other lipstick is for your friend who was looking at the line and looking at the crowd. Wow, still thinking of others, even though you exert a lot of effort to achieve your goal, but your mind is still not, based on your own longing and desire, but you also think of the others. Thank you so much, Miss Selena, for that very wonderful sharing. And next, we have the SK Federation and President of the SK Federation and Chairman of LYDC Zamboanga City, Honorable Carrie John O. Piok. Hello, sir. I believe there may be some concerns on the internet. So while we are waiting for Honorable Piok's internet to stabilize, we shall move on to our next member of the panel. I am very thrilled to get to know these people and to learn from them as well. We have the president and chairman of the Tara Kabataan organization in Zamboanga City. Welcome, Honorable Mark Kevin Nugas.
Good evening. This is Mark Kevin Sinugas, the founder and chair of Tara Kabataan Organization. Tara Kabataan Organization is a non-profit, non-stock, and non-partisan youth organization with its vision to empowering the youth, with its purpose to capacitate and provide massive advocacy campaigns on cross-cultural exchange and leadership empowerment to young leaders towards a more engaging and empowering communities. We also encouraging youth from the grassroots level to actively participate and take part to certain actions and solutions for the development of the youth and for the society in general. So one of our program is Educa, Servi, I-Ayuda, or Educate, Serve, and Help. Sa program na iyan, pasok ang aming medical mission. We also conducted medical mission to help our kababayan, barangay nihan, or also known as our community pantry, feeding program. Nakakandak din po kami ng feeding program, and of course, familiar po kayo sa urban farming. Yes, gumagawa din po kami. So yung mga best practices namin is that proud kami na sinasabi na si Tara Kabataan Organization hindi na masyado ngayong nagki-create ng advocacy, sapagkat we encourage our members to create their own advocacies And yun ang isusupport ni Tara Kabataan Organization to really have the sense of ownership, accountability, and responsibility. And of course, towards na din doon sa community namin. So, kami sa Tara Kabataan Organization, ang ginagawa namin is more on technical na lang po. Kasi we allowed our beneficiaries, we allowed the community to plan for their own, to plan for their development, and to plan to sustain the program that we are going to implement. And one of our best practices that we allow our members to grow. We allowed our members to create their own advocacy. And we allowed our members or our volunteers to be empowered. Kasi naniniwala po kami na hindi lamang ang kami sa officers ni Tara Kabataan ang magiging empowered, kasi nandito ang Tara Kabataan to really help you to become who you are and magiging good leader ka and effective leader ka sa inyong community. And then as a member, as a volunteer of Tara Kabataan Organization, naniniwala po kami that change doesn't happen overnight. So inaalaw po namin ang aming member na mas mag-grow pa, mas marami pang mga learnings na matutunan, and of course, we encourage them na before we will change the world, we will change first ourselves, so that magkakaroon po tayo ng domino effects na if mag-change natin ang ating sarili, mag-change natin ang ating pamilya, and of course the community, and so on and so forth. And yun lamang po ang aking masasabi on behalf of the Tara Kabataan Organization.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable Mark Kevanugas, for that message. And I guess Honorable Piox's video is not ready. Central Student Government, please help me welcome Mr. James Martin Ambat.
Good afternoon to all my fellow student leaders and to all the viewers. I am James Ambat, an incoming third-year AB International Studies student from Xavier University, Ateneo de Cagayan. My past leadership experiences were mostly affiliated with student governments and college councils. During my freshman year, I was a staff of the 26th Directorate and Office of the Vice President of the XUCSG, or the Central Student Government. In my sophomore year, I became the Director of the Communication and Promotions Office of the UNITAS, or the United Arts and Sciences Student Council, the College Student Council for the Xavier Ateneo College of Arts and Sciences. Currently, I am the Head of Organizational Development of the Xavier University Central Student Government and the Director of the Special Operations Division of the Office of the Vice President at the same time. I've experienced as well joining parliamentary both local and international, such as the VOC CDO Parliament and the Asia World Model United Nations Conference in Bangkok, Thailand. With all my past and current leadership experiences, I was able to traverse through different council and organization structures, and going through different roles under different leaderships helped me become more adaptive and versatile in the workplace. In these unprecedented times, our leadership has been challenged through the shift to online setup, which means more virtual meetings, more virtual events, and more online projects than the usual physical setup. This would mean that we had to transition to a more digital way of manifesting our leadership. A challenge which most of us are striving to cope in order to continue our visions as a student leader. I can say that a year of this virtual setup enabled me to take a step back, reflect, and discern on the ways to still become an efficient leader despite the hurdles of pandemic. To begin with, I realized that it's important to live with one foot raised. Saint Ignatius himself described the ideal leader as such, which means moving always into new knowledge and understanding, and to be ready to step forward and respond to human need and suffering in the world. As a student leader, this means to me more as going beyond what is expected of us and to be innovative and prepared in whatever circumstances we face, keeping in mind the essence of humanity. In addition, I have also realized during my Change Management for Student Leaders course, where I got to converse with Ateneo de Manila University student leaders, that the organizational culture is an important aspect to establish. As I also work with people in the council and student governments, I have learned that to establish a healthy workplace culture makes members feel more supported, valued, and comfortable, and it motivates them to do more. Furthermore, student leadership is better and more efficient when your organizational goals, mission, and vision are aligned with your projects. You don't have to do a lot of projects and activities to be efficient. We have to emphasize more on the impact it brings. In other words, focus on the quality more than the quantity. We have to ponder on the questions: what are the success indicators of this project? How can we reach more people? How do we get the interest of our target participants? And how can this leave a lasting impact on them? Sometimes, more than the relevance of the project, we have to assess it first and reflect on how it could be done in a way that it creates a ripple effect. In conclusion, leadership has always been challenged and will always be challenged, but a genuine leader knows the urgent needs of the community and the nation, and hence is adaptable. Whatever circumstances we face, we have to keep on going, and as a powerful Cebuano term, padayon lang.
Yes, thank you so much, Sir James Martin and Butt, for sharing to us your wisdom and experience in student leadership. So many points to take note of, right? Very useful sharing from Sir James Martin and Butt. And not only is he a very good leader, but he's also very talented. Maybe he will give us a chance soon to share to us his talent. Yes, I'm looking forward to that. And finally, we have our next panelist, the Vice President of Lourdes College Senior High School Student Government. We have with us Mr. Cristil Kane P. Calonia. A round of applause, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Cristil Kane P. Calonia, a senior high school graduate and the former Vice President of the Student Government of Lourdes College. First of all, I would like to give thanks to Ma'am Naomi Olohoy for giving me this opportunity to be one of the members of the panel and to talk about the best practices in our organization and to share my leadership philosophy in some ways in order to achieve unity in our community. So taking responsibility, communicating effectively, and believing in the process are the three major practices in our organization. This may sound simple, but these practices lead us to be one united and productive organization. Taking responsibility is a very big word, especially for us leaders, since we commit ourselves to lead and to serve the people. We need also to take responsibility. Taking responsibility is one of the ways in doing our purpose as a leader. And as we all know, leaders possess practical management skills. And we can improve that by communicating effectively. Communicating effectively is the best practice for me, because when leaders inside an organization are not communicating, all of your plans, missions, and aspirations will not be successful. Communicating effectively is not only applicable inside your organization, it also means that you need to talk with the people. You need to listen and talk to them so that we can gain more new knowledge and we can share inside the organization and to start the process of achieving the organization's goal. And that leads us to the last practice, which is believing in the process. As one organization, we need also to share one goal, and that is to make everything possible and successful. Believing in the process is like believing to yourself and to your members and believing that everything that you will do will be successful. You need also to remember that everything that we are doing are not for the sake of ourselves or for the sake of the organization, but it is also for the sake of the people and for the betterment of our community. And now I would like to share to you my leadership philosophy. Leadership is not all about individual leaders and their aptitudes. Instead, leadership is a social action that enables individuals to work together and to achieve results that they think that they could never accomplish. In addition, one can make a change, but no single person can enhance everything alone. And there is no certainty that everything improves unless everyone does something. And I think that ends my 3-minute presentation, and thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cristil Kane Calonia. Hi, sir. Thank you very much for that wonderful sharing of your best practices. Yes, indeed, it's important to take responsibility. Even the first step is already very hard for most people, right? Taking responsibility. And yes, communication and then believing in the process. Thank you for that. And next, we shall be hearing from Honorable Biak. I think his video is already now. Please help me welcome once again the SK Federation President and Chairman of LYDZ Zamboanga City, Honorable Karijan O. Piak.
Buenos dias a todos. Yes, the SK Zamboanga City Federation would like to extend our heartfelt thanks for giving us the opportunity to share the best practices that we made from 2020 up until now and how to combat COVID-19 pandemic in our country and most especially in our individual cities. We'll be showing you some pictures and videos highlighted during the 2020 activities of the SKs among the barangays and the activities coming from the SK Zamboanga City Federation. Hope you can get some information or initiative that you can also implement in your individual cities. And again, for amor na magka-jóvenes, muchísimas gracias y en Diyos confiamos.
Wow, I believe that the LYDC has done a lot of activities and events and initiatives even during the pandemic. And I believe all of our youth leaders too have continued doing service projects even in the midst of the pandemic, even in the midst of challenges, even in their own personal lives. I bet we all have our challenges too. And yes, thank you once again to all our youth leaders for sharing your best practices. We shall now move on to the Q&A portion. If you have any questions, concerns that you'd like to ask and raise for our panelists to answer, please chat. Please type them down in our chat box. Okay. May I ask the technical to please highlight our panelists? Once again, we have Crystal Kane Calonia and Mr. James Martin Ambat from Misamis Oriental. Sadly, Mr. Preachy Jacob could not be here with us because of his schedule and internet instability. And we also have here Honorable Mark Kevin Nugas. Yes. As well as Ma'am Selena Caballera. Is Ma'am Selena with us still? Oh, okay. So there might be technical problems. So I think we'll settle with the 4 here. All right. Thank you once again. Let's give a big hand to our panelists. Once again, yes, you can unmute your mics. Sir Crystal Kane, Sir James, and Sir Kevin, Mark Kevin. Which do you prefer, sir? Yes, it's really a pleasure meeting all these leaders with us today. And from just their sharing earlier, it's been really inspiring. And yes, I have prepared some questions already in case everyone is too shy to ask. So here is the first question. If you just please feel free to answer if you'd like to. The first one is, It's rather personal. Dr. Julius mentioned about purpose, existence, altruism, cooperation, and effort earlier, which he says is the steps that we can take towards success. Can you share your personal insights and feelings on this particular discussion? Did you What did you find striking in this discussion, and if, for example, which step did you find most challenging in your journey towards success? Who would like to answer first? Maybe we can hear from anyone. You can unmute your mic if you'd like to take on this question. Yes, Sir James.
Hello, ma'am. So, I think the question was about our journey or our how we perceive our path to success. And given that earlier we were given somewhat a lecture on how we can um, smoothly transition into that trajectory. But personally, I believe that there's no one mold that will fit any one of us towards that certain path to success, because firmly I believe that we have different backgrounds or different culture beliefs and upbringings, and we are so diverse, in fact, that we have different mindsets as well. What I believe should be um, something that would align with your vision of success would be to look within yourself. There was this striking line with I watched Avatar series just, I think, last
Yes.
week. I think I completed it last week, and
Great.
there was a line from Uncle Iroh, and
Mm.
he said it to Prince Zuko to look within yourself and you'll find the answer. And I think that struck me the most, because along the way, although we have that vision, I myself is a visionary person and a visionary leader as well. But there are times that I get lost along the way, and it's okay to take a step back and reflect and look within yourself. And I think one attribute of a successful person is that a successful person discerns, a successful person contemplates, and he thinks through his action. And I think that's an attribute that most successful people possess.
Looking inwards. That's true. Thank you so much, Sir James. In fact, I would agree with you. Actually, the, this time around, this month, I did take a step back, so I could resonate with what you're trying to share here. How about the other members of the panel? Sir Mark or Sir Crystal Kane, do you have anything to add on Sir James' answer?
Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon. Can I
Good
go?
afternoon, Sir Mark. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, maybe because in Tara Kabataan Organization, we don't believe in failure. We always believe that everything we did is nagsa-success talaga kami. So, kasi yun yung panghatak namin sa organization namin. Kung kami naniniwala na failure yung ginawa namin, paano na lang kaya yung benefactors namin? Paano na lang kaya yung beneficiaries namin? Ano kaya yung mararating nila? So, kami ang unang naniniwala na lahat ng ginawa namin ay naging successful kasi we always trust the process. Kung ano man yung nangyari, kung ano man yung kinahinatnan, para sa amin successful kami doon. Though we always nag-accept kami ng mga rooms for improvements, ganun lang siguro. Pero we don't believe in failure po sa Tara Kabataan Organization.
Yes, I do believe I came across a quote which says, I forgot what the source, but it says that yes, if we can take a look at if we look at life differently, if we look at supposedly failures in the eyes of others as steps towards our objective, then they're actually not failures, just steps, a process of growth. How about you, Sir Crystal Kane? Do you have anything to add?
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, so I want to base my answer from the statement of Galileo. You cannot teach a man anything, but you can only help him find it within himself. So, like from their talk earlier, ma'am, the step that struck me the most is the purpose or finding your purpose in your life. So before, ma'am, I experienced hardship in serving the people, but because of the help of other my friends, my family, then I was able to find my purpose, and that is to lead and to serve the people. And I think the statement of Galileo also, ma'am, like contradicts akong from my experience, but also connect niya din ako siya to, yeah, you cannot teach a man anything, but you can help a man, or you can help some person to find his or her purpose in life, and you will help him to to use that purpose to help other and to serve the people. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you so much, Sir Crystal Kane. And yes, moving on, our next question is rather, let's say, we would like to look at reality and in the society. So there are countless issues and concerns of the youth at present. I'm sure you are aware as youth leaders. But which among these issues and concerns do you think should be prioritized? And how do you think can the youth succeed in resolving this issue? Does anyone want to go first?
Ma'am, can you repeat the question? You were static at my end a while ago.
Yes, all right. Once again, the question is, there are countless issues and concerns of the youth at present, but which issue do you think should be prioritized? And how do you think can the youth succeed in resolving this issue? So earlier, Sir Julius mentioned about a lot of problems that the youth are confronted with at present, and I'm sure many of you are aware. Issues such as mental health, it's increasing drastically. Even in Japan, it has, overtaken the the number of death caused by COVID. Actually, suicide has overtaken that. And yes, teenage pregnancy in the Philippines is increasing during the pandemic. And this is, of course, already been declared as social state of emergency in the Philippines. Do you think, which do you think among the issues, the many issues at present, should be prioritized in your perspective? And how do you think can the youth help in resolving this issue? Or if we can help?
Ma'am, can I start?
Yes. Please go ahead, Sir Mark.
Siguro the mental health problem kasi relevant talaga siya dito sa Zamboanga kasi ang daming nagsusuicide dahil sa hindi wala silang hindi stable ang kanilang or wala hindi good ang kanilang mental health. So as according sa aming isa sa member namin sa Tara Kabataan, sinabi niya na mental health is a wealth, sorry. So naniniwala kami na ito dapat ang i-address. Do kami sa Tara Kabataan organization, ginagawa na po namin yung intervention namin dahan-dahan. Nagka-conduct na po kami ng training of trainers for the mental health facilitators kasi naniniwala po kami na mas lalo nating pagtibayin, mas lalo nating enhance, mas lalo nating empower ang ating kabataan, and para at least maraming boses ang kakalaban sa mental health na ito. Maraming boses ang tutulong sa atin kung paano ba ang intervention natin sa problemang ito. So, yun siguro ang namin sa Tara Kabataan, na lahat ng ginagawa namin ngayon is in-line namin kung paano namin mai-address ang mental health issue sa kabataan ngayon, ma'am.
Great to hear that. And yes, does anyone want to add to Sir Mark's answer? I do have a question.
I think I'll go next, ma'am.
Yes, please go
Uh,
ahead, Sir James.
I agree to that. Mental health is such, I think, a prominent problem today, especially now that we're in quarantine. And apart from the mental health problems, I think that it comes with the norms or with the uh, stigma mental health, on mental health as in particular. And aside from that, ma'am, as a general, because recently we held strategic plannings in our central student government, and I facilitated I facilitated some units in our student government, and we had some spiritual conversations on questions such as how can CSG help you to become an efficient leader, or in what ways can CSG help you? And some of their answers, or more, most of them answered that they want to go they want to go out of their comfort zone, and they envision themselves that at the end of the year they'll be more comfortable and more interactive with other people, because a lot of them are introverts. And I think that also implies that, uh, as a general or somewhat a model, it implies that some youth are in what way, how can we describe this? But I think there's a sense of apathy in which we have to awaken them, and we have to get them to participate more into our programs, because our programs are for them, and we have a lot of programs for them. But the challenge for us is how do we get them to participate in that way? And that's what they envision in themselves at the end of the year, to become more confident, to become more interactive with other people. And also dwell on their um, they want to dwell on their mental well-being as well. I mean, mental well-being doesn't only mean having webinars about mental health, but in particular activities that um, may provide them an avenue for expressing themselves, or an avenue where they can
Yes, thank you so much, Sir James, and of course, Sir Mark. I think this is a really good platform also to talk about the concerns of our youth. We can hear from your side and from Sir Mark's side and from Sir James. And now I see that there is really it really calls for action. Mental health awareness, not just awareness, but as mentioned by Sir James, we need activities for them. Yes, how about you, Sir Crystal Kane? What do you think should be prioritized at present?
Yes, ma'am. For me, ma'am, aside from mental health, ma'am, one of the issues or problems that the youth are facing today, ma'am, is the HIV and AIDS, ma'am. Like, as far as I know, ma'am, last year, or I was able to join a webinar last year. That Cagayan de Oro is one of paraming HIV and AIDS here in the Philippines. And I think, ma'am, one of the ways in order to solve or to lessen this issue, ma'am, is to promote education, not only like webinars lang or ganon, para to uh, to take a step, ma'am, to implement some actions. Like in every school, there is education. What are the effects of engaging into premarital sex and not practicing safe sex, ma'am, like that, so that some of the youth will be educated about the impact of not impact of HIV and AIDS, ma'am. Like maraming nawala nga life tungod sa HIV and AIDS. And I think that is one of the issues that the youth also need to prioritize, or making some projects in order to lessen and to solve this kind of issue.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Crystal Ken Calonia. That's true, because there is a stigma. Most of the youth actually do not want to tackle this issue, or there is sort of, a common reaction to talking about this is, just changing the topic, but it's something that we should discuss because it is also affecting the youth sector. And actually, the Universal Peace Federation is coming up with a curriculum for that. I do hope, uh, together with the government, in partnership with the government, I do hope that it works, that we can build more partnerships to to actually implement something and then look at its effectiveness. And again, I think we are already over time, but I am very glad that we actually heard a lot of insights coming from the members of our panel. I would like to thank Mr. Cristel Quintalonia, Honorable Mark Nugas, and of course, Mr. James Ambat for your valuable insights. And do you have any final final words for our audience tonight before we end? Any invitations to upcoming events or activities? None? All right. So I guess we will end here. And thank you once again to our panelists. Thank you for our audience as well. And yes, that was a really fruitful and meaningful discussion. And we hope at IOYSP we can take note of what they've shared earlier, not just in the best practices, but also in the concerns. Maybe we can also align our goals and objectives, the events that we create. I invite our schools also, because we have school heads here, to maybe, yes, have more dialogues with your students and really know what their concerns are on a personal level even. Okay, so moving on. Again, it has been a thrilling and meaningful evening now. I am truly inspired by all of our speakers and participants. To formally conclude this program, I would like to invite Mr. Nonilo Olohoy, IAYSP Misamis Oriental Advisor, to give the closing remarks.
First of all, let me express my heartfelt gratitude to the following leaders. On behalf of IAYSP Zamboanga Peninsula, IAYSP Misamis Oriental, as well as IAYSP Pilipinas. To Dr. Julius B. Maliktim, Regional Vice President and Chairman of UPF Southeast Asia. To Sir Leo Angelo T. Halok, Chairman of IAYSP Pilipinas. To Sir Rene T. Lansangan, President of IAYSP Pilipinas. To Honorable Tito B. Espiritu Santo, President of the Barangay Councilors League of the Philippines, and to the esteemed leaders from the government and private sectors, the youth sector, and the academe. Indeed, you not only lent dignity to this event, but also, and even more importantly, shared valuable inputs that will surely empower our youth. And to the participants, congratulations. Thank you very much for your participation. From the various takeaways from this virtual event, some key points about leadership stand out. Notwithstanding the different leadership styles or approaches, an organization which shares a clear vision and mission and regards everyone as an essential part of the organization, that his well-being is equally important as the attainment of its vision and mission, and shares universally shared values among themselves, is primed for success. It is even more so when a leader truly lives for the sake of the organization and its members, even at the sacrifice of his convenience. Through such selfless and sacrificial leadership, he will intrinsically motivate and inspire others to do the same. Moreover, when a leader leads by example, then members more readily contribute what is expected of them. When through the leader's inspiration and example, every member takes ownership of the organization's vision, mission, and values, then success is easy to come by. History is replete with actual events which prove this to be true. Our youth of today can learn from them. I consider this Leaders Connect virtual event, the Youth Ladder of Success, on the theme, Let's Ascend One Rung at a Time, truly relevant at this time. What with the different challenges the world is confronted with. It is during times like this that people look up to leaders who can guide and inspire them so that through collaborative undertakings, they can come out of such challenges wiser, stronger, and even more resilient. Any one of you here can be that leader now or in the near future. Again, congratulations. Thank you very much.
Mindanao,
Thank you very much, Mr. Namelo Alohoy, for that inspiring and motivating message. Indeed, any one of us can be a leader. And before we end the event, I would like to invite everyone to please open their cameras. We shall now be taking our group photo. And later, after this photo opportunity, we'll have some announcement because we have upcoming activities. All right, please show me your best smiles. Thank you for staying with us until the end. Yes. Okay, great. Great. All right. So may I please ask the technical to please take photos. All right, please show me your best smiles in 1, 2, 3. All right, great. I think some are still turning on their cameras. All right. Yes, please do catch up. Manudlay sa. Katong wala pa panudlay. Sige, panudlay lang sa. Okay, great. Let's take one more photo. Please. All right. Please sign. 1, 2, 3. Yes, great. And lastly, okay, youth empowerment. Keep fighting on in life. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a pleasant evening. And what's important is to take care of ourselves the most, and of course, continue on with our leadership roles in society. See you again soon. Thank you for connecting with us in Leaders Connect. We hope to see you again soon. And of course, please do join us on July 4. We have a family members assembly for IAYSP. And on the 22nd, we have our sequel for the Youth Ladder of Success, which is the scaffolding session. So these are for graduating students, okay? For our senior high school students who will be moving on to a new threshold in college, which may seem very scary at the present, but we will help you with that. On July 22nd, we will have a career guidance session, a scaffolding session with some experts that we will ask for you to for them to guide you through this process. Okay, see you on July 4 and on July 22nd. Have a pleasant evening, everyone. Have a wonderful dinner as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Daghang salamat. So, Jessica, are you joining us from Korea?
More power.
Ma'am Teresita Humawan. Auntie Virgie Samuyag from Korea, I believe. Wow, we have some people from Korea here. Annyeong. Annyeonghaseyo.
감사합니다.
감사합니다.